Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm your humble host Picaso. Thanks for joining in. Inspirational Sundays, Genesis chapter 22. We're getting through there. Today, Genesis chapter 22. The Lord tells Abraham to offer Isaac as a sacrifice. And for anybody who's just tuning in, maybe this is your first video you've noticed, this type of content is here on the channel for everybody. There's many different varieties or there is a various variety of content on the channel, but if this is your first video, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for more content like this, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. And let's get into the word. Again, the point of saying that was that we are going through the entire Bible. We're reading from Genesis all the way down to the last book of the Bible, Revelation, and we're just doing it every Sunday. Currently, I am going to be introducing it during the week, maybe Wednesday night, Thursday night, something like that. Maybe both those nights. You never know. Okay, again, Genesis chapter 22, titled, The Lord Tells Abraham to Offer Isaac as a Sacrifice. Yeah, I see you, I'm laughing at. Verse 1. Some years later, God decided to test Abraham, so he spoke to him. Abraham answered, "Here I am, Lord." The Lord said, "Go, get Isaac, your only son, the one you dearly love. Take him to the land of Moriah, and I will show you a mountain where you must sacrifice him to me on the fires of an altar." So Abraham got up early the next morning and chopped wood for the fire. He put a saddle on his donkey. I just got to stop there. I like how he didn't even talk back. He didn't even be like, "Are you sure, God?" You know, not even disrespectfully, but he didn't say, "Really?" or "Are you sure?" or, you know, something else. He didn't try to make an excuse. He didn't try to anything, right? He just got up the next morning early. He got up early too. It's not even like you're trying to drag it out. He got up early the next morning and just went straight to work. Of course, you know, he's human. I can't even imagine what's going through his head during that time. I'm sure he had that little thing like, you know, like, my son, you know, I love him so much. But he's like, yo, God spoke to him and he's just doing it. You know?
Interject 1 second. So you see the contrast between him and Lot. Because remember when he was told to leave, right?
He didn't want to. They didn't move.
They had to haste him.
They had to grab his hand.
Exactly.
At the end. Definite. Abraham's just like, darn it, my son. All right, get up early, chop wood. Like, no questions, man. Obedience. Strict obedience. Oh yeah. And we see that here. He didn't have to sacrifice because of obedience. He didn't know it was a test, you know. So Abraham got up early the next morning and chopped wood for the fire. He put a saddle on his donkey and set out with Isaac and 2 servants for the place where God had told him to go. 3 days later, Abraham took off in the distance and saw the place. He told his servants, "Stay here with the donkey while my son and I go over there to worship. We will come back." Verse 6, Abraham put the wood on Isaac's shoulders, but he carried the hot coals and the knife. As the 2 of them walked along, Isaac said, "Father, we have the coals and the wood, but where is the lamb for the sacrifice?" And this is I have to highlight this one. This part, it's verse 7 and 8. Again, Isaac said, "Father, we have the coals and the wood, but where is the lamb for sacrifice?" And then Abraham replies, "My son," Abraham answered, "God will provide the lamb." Right there. You don't have to worry. Don't even think about it. You don't see it. You don't have it. But you trust God. God will provide it. God will provide it, bro. I got chills there again. Certain things give me chills, yo, but I got the chills right there. Continuing on, the 2 of them walked on, and when they reached the place that God had told him about, Abraham built an altar and placed the wood on it. Next, he tied up his son and put him on the wood. Now, a quick question. if I were to tie up my son, and my son figures out what's going on, I'm pretty sure he'd be screaming, he'd be crying, he'd be like, "What are you doing? Dad, what are you doing?" You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't say, again, we're not there. We don't know specific little details. We don't know. I'm sure Isaac was wondering, but again, no argument. The obedience. Yeah. No arguments, no talking back. Yeah. Just doing what you're told, even if it's your life. Yeah. It's just that because, I mean, you know, God forbid, of course, if God allowed him to sacrifice Isaac would have just went straight to heaven anyways, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, there wouldn't have been no really downside, you know, to it, other than the fact that, you know, he would have killed his son and everything. But again, you know, it's...
You know, this speaks to submissiveness.
Oh, yeah.
And Isaac could have only been submissive to Abraham because he knew that Abraham was
submissive to God. But that's the thing, like you said, the leadership, yeah. the what's the word I'm looking at? What's that word? It's missing me. When somebody does the example. Yeah. The example, right, of fully obedience. He knows that his dad is just 100% obedience to God. That's it. Yeah. So if his dad's saying something and they're doing something pertaining to God, they know, he knows, right? He knows. He sees the example from him and he's like, okay, well, my dad's fully obedient to God. Yeah. So am I. Yeah. And I got to be obedient to my dad as well, because that's what it says, right?
And I'm sure Abraham has, you know, spoken to his son about all that God has done for him, and he sees it.
Oh yeah.
So see the God that your father serves, and you see that your father is submissive to that. You're going to be submissive to your father.
Not only that, your father is God's friend. He's God's friend. God, the Creator, who created all of us, the world, the universe, the stars, everything you can think about. It's possible because of Him, and your dad's His friend. Yeah. Abraham could be like, "Lord, can you make another moon?" And God would probably make another moon. Like, seriously, you know, he's his friend. He's his friend, right?
I mean, he literally had that whole conversation when the angels were going into Sodom. What if there's only 10? God
literally stood up and took it. Because I'm telling you, man, remember when they're reading it, I said, God must be annoyed at this. He must be annoyed at Abraham, though. Because
that's
he's like,
said, don't be angry.
Yeah, don't be angry if I say this, but, you know. But no, God's like, yo, bro, right now you're my friend, so just chillax, you know? Chillax.
And he knew that, you know, Abraham's mind was on his
family. His family, yeah. Of course, any innocent people that might be down there, because that's what he wanted. Save it for the innocent people, right?
Exactly. And that's to show you the heart, because some people wouldn't care about that, you know? They care about themselves.
Exactly.
And like you said,
just get my family and get out. That's it.
To be honest, you know, God tells you to sacrifice your son. You say, God, really? You just gave me this.
Yeah.
Like, I asked you.
That's what anybody would say. That's what anybody would say. And again, we're not there specifically. These could just be jot points. But if there was any type of talk back or anything like that, argument, it would be in here for sure, not a question,
right?
Because it's in there for everything else when they do that, you know.
So and that's a lesson to us, that when we know that our parents or our spouse or whoever, you know, who is truly serving God, and you discern that, you know, and you see by the fruit of the Spirit you're serving God, then we don't really need to question, even when it looks kind of weird, that, oh, okay, he's randomly selling the house, you know, or he's randomly giving his whole paycheck, whatever, the poor, whatever.
No, because you know it's in the Spirit. That's what's leading.
Exactly. It's not of our own doing, but God who's leading us to do these things. God has a bigger plan.
Oh yeah, and we can't understand it. Our feeble little minds can't understand it, man. We use 10%. We use 10% of our brains in the first place. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? God's using more than every brain on earth combined, working at 100%. Exactly. He's way past that. We can't even fathom how far that is. because that means God might have something like a brain, because he made us in his image. So, or not like, well, the spirit is not physical, but he has that, obviously the capacity, intelligence, knowledge, wisdom. He has all of that stuff, so we don't come close. Okay, verse 9. When they reached the place that God had told him about, Abraham built an altar and placed the wood on it. Next, he tied up his son and put him on the wood. Verse 10, he then took the knife and got ready to kill his son. Abraham's a better man than any of us, man. I don't know any man who would do this for the right reason, because God told him. People do it out there for shady reasons and stuff, but I don't know. That's a serious... Okay, so verse 11, but the Lord's angel shouted from heaven, Abraham! Abraham! So you can imagine the knife's coming down, and Isaac's just there, love you, Father, and he closes his eyes, and Abraham's like, love you too, my boy, and he's coming down with the knife, and the angel's like, let me open this window, yo, Abraham! Abraham! And he's like, here am I. He's like, right here am I. He answered, don't hurt the boy or harm him in any way, the angel said. Now I know that you truly obey God, because you were willing to offer him your only son. Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught by its horns in the bushes. So he took the ram and sacrificed it instead of his son. Abraham named that place, the Lord will provide. Jeez. The Lord will provide, man.
I don't know what Abraham would do if the angels didn't
stop him.
Yeah, I don't know what he would do. I think Abraham would cry. He would be sad because it is his own son.
Yeah.
But it's God's rules. He just has to obey.
Exactly. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of it. It's the obedience, right? But the great thing is, God stopped him because he was just testing him to see his obedience, right? So that's good. God knows that, hey, no matter what he tells Abraham, he's going to do it, right? Which is what all of us should do. God tells us something, we all should just do it. If he doesn't want us to do it, he'll stop us. Or if he wants us to do it, we'll do it, right? He's not going to ask us to kill anybody, But it's just the fact that if God says, hey, don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, we shouldn't lie, cheat, or steal. Don't do what he doesn't want you to do, and do things that please him. That's what we should do. Verse 13. Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught. Oh, read it already. It's okay. Looked up and saw a ram caught by its horns in the bushes. So he took the ram and sacrificed it instead of his son. Verse 14. Abraham named the place, the Lord will provide. And even now, people say, on the mountain of the Lord, it will be provided. On the mountain of the Lord, it will be provided. Yes. Verse 15. The Lord's angels called out from heaven a second time. You were willing to offer your only son to the Lord, and so he makes you this solemn promise. I will bless you and give you such a large family that someday your descendants will be more numerous than the stars in the sky, or the grains of sand along the seashore. They will defeat their enemies and take over the cities where their enemies live. You have obeyed me, and so you and your descendants will be a blessing to all nations on earth. Abraham and Isaac went back to the servants who had come with them, and they returned to Abraham's home in Beersheba. Verse 20 to 24, titled The Children of Nahor. Verse 20, the children of Nahor. Verse 20, Abraham's brother Nahor had married Milcah, and Abraham was later told that they had 8 sons. Now, Uz or Uz, I'm going to say Uz. I'm going to say Uz. I was very close to saying Uz, but let's go with Uz. Uz or Uz. Uz. Uz was the firstborn. Okay, I'm going to say Uz. because the second one is Buzz.
Okay.
So yeah, I've got to say or is it Booze? It wouldn't be Booze. I don't think so. Forgive me if I'm misplacing any of these names or mispronouncing any of these names, even though most of us don't even know, because you know. So Uz was the firstborn, Buzz was next, and then there was Kemuel, the father of Aram. Their other 5 sons were Chesed, Hazel, Pildash, Jidlaph, and Bethuel, the father of Rebekah. Nahor also had another wife. Her name was Reumah, and she had 4 sons, Teba, Gaham, Tahash, and Makkah. That brings the end of chapter 22. Little short, little spicy, but I mean, I really my cup was full today with many things. True obedience, and the main fact is that God will provide. I think there's 2 main facts to today's episode, really. Obedience and God will provide. Those are the 2 things to take from this chapter. I mean, from the whole Bible, of course, but specifically dealing with this chapter that we read today. True obedience, man. No matter what it is, no matter how hard it is. And that's the next thing. God will test us with things that we hold dear, close to our heart, because nothing is supposed to be closer to our heart than God. God's supposed to be the closest thing. And then there's no real way to actually know that you can be tested of that, of course, with your earthly desires. And then God says, hey, don't do those things. You know, that's really the real test right there. And then, of course, if you truly are obedient to God, you don't need to worry, because if you really need something, He will provide. Jeez. Oh, yeah, I'm awake now. Okay, guys. Hope you enjoyed. As always, I'm your humble host, Picaso. Thanks for joining in. Stay blessed. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. I'm out.